Hey, good morning guys, how are you? Jamie Milne here, and I'm so pumped and excited and, and energized to bring our little JMTtv back to life. We're speaking with people of passion and purpose and useful people in the community, and I'm so proud and privileged to be able to hang out and spend a morning with some nice coffee, with some quality people. Brett and Megan Stranding, how are you guys?
Good.
These guys are well known in the running community and the endurance community. They are the directors, organisers, and the brain power, the supernova, the unicorn of the Queensland running world.
Oh, supernova, I love that.
Yeah, supernova. And these guys do amazing things for us. How are you?
We're really good. Glad to be here with you guys, and nice to see your place, and see it on TV a lot, on videos. So it's good to be here and
it's
get
like
out
a
tomorrow.
positive virus in the social media world. It's everywhere.
It's a really beautiful facility.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Just one quick thing before we go into having a chat. There's something that I made a little distinction. I've thought long and hard about this. I sometimes struggle to verbalise some of the things when I feel really strongly about something, but I've been involved in running communities here, obviously in Australia, New Zealand, the Middle East, UK, and I've been to a lot of running events, and you hear every second word, every second sales pitch, every second description of running communities and events. People are like, we've got a great community, we're all about community, this is the best community, and you hear that all the time. And a lot of people, yeah, they're right, there's great communities. I think something that really stands out to me with the Run Queensland events, and especially I've been involved with the Blackall 100, your guys' culture is amazing. They say community is kind of what you are. So this is the Blackall, or this is the Brisbane Marathon, or this is the Tarawera Ultra Marathon. Culture is almost why you do what you do and who you are. That's what I think anyway, the difference between the two. And I just love my time with you guys up at the Blackall. It's distinctively different. And the culture is incredible, and I'm sure anybody that's come to your guys' events would agree. So hopefully I haven't stolen a bit of your thunder.
Look, it's beautiful to have that recognition, and for me, it's kind of like people are walking away with what we're trying to achieve. We're a very diverse bunch. Like my husband's an ultra runner. We've got a couple of ultra runners. I love the earth. I love people coming onto the trail and seeing, we live in a society where everyone's just like full on, and they don't get to connect to themselves. And I see that on the trail.
Yes.
And I think that's, we bring that, you know what I mean? And there's a passion behind that. And you have the same. I feel that, when I watch your stuff, you care about people.
Yeah.
And that's my perception on why I do it.
Yeah, amazing.
On one level, yeah.
Yep. That's awesome. That's really true. Yeah, that's great. The in a almost like an elevator type speech, so a short description of, why did you start? I mean, you guys have a retreat, and whereabouts and what's your retreat called?
So we've got a retreat in Glasshouse.
Yeah.
So we relocated from Sydney in the suburbs.
Yeah.
I got a transfer corporate. I worked corporate, and then we did a tree change. So we own 10 acres in Glasshouse.
Oh, wow.
And I always say to Brett, and I don't know if you feel the same, that place healed me. Do you know what I mean? Going back to nature and connecting in that way.
Sure changed our world.
It changed our world.
It's a huge, they're polar opposites.
Yeah.
Sydney, living large, getting after it.
Yeah.
And now you're a nude sunbathing.
We sort of...
Too soon. We'll get to that point. We'll get to that point.
We sort of, I guess, we were doing corporate jobs. Like I was working for Australia Post and playing the climbing the ladder kind of game and all that sort of stuff. And like we've got Dean KARNAZES coming to the Blackall 100 this year. Oh, it is amazing.
Story,
and I, reading that book, I guess the thing that I got from his book, it wasn't so much the running. I could connect with the running, but it's more the changing your life and trying to do stuff that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
We don't make like the money that I used to make or anything like that. But like for me to go and organise a race and watch people battle through where they just want to stop. And I mean, you can use that in life, can't you? You know that you can push through things that you just couldn't imagine that you could do. You know, watching all the different people now that just want to be a part of just that event, like even volunteering, you know, spending a day out there looking after people, and you can see the passion that they have in the race. And I mean, you know, Megan's come up with the hashtag this year, Blackall 100 Passion, you know. So we're sort of...
It's so relevant to, you know, like even Dean, like what's he say?
Find your passion and make it your work.
Make it your job.
I mean, it's...
I mean, Brett doesn't go, like it's a 24-hour race. It used to be 28 hours, and Brett will not go to bed until he sees that.
Yes,
last person
I remember
across.
that as well. That was one of the that
I
really stood out. And nor would I. So that really stood out, mate.
Yeah.
And that's very unique. And I think as a runner myself, you know, to come across the line and there's Large in Charge, you know, one of the directors, organisers, waiting, and I might add, noticing that you were just as excited to see, you know, the sort of end finishes coming in as you were the guy that won it just recently, and that is just amazing, mate.
I think one of the things that you kind of realise is that, you know, to watch those fast guys is pretty special.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you know that the level of training and the work they must do is incredible.
Right.
You'd see it in here with the guys that do really well in OCR and stuff. And so, but those ones that are at the back that are working, I don't know, 50 hours a week, and they're training like at night or 4 in the morning and whenever they can kind of thing.
That's right.
You know, kids and families and, you know, I mean, my poor suffering wife, when I was training full on, I don't know, I mean, sometimes you're doing 160 kilometres.
Yeah, it's about the pendulum's got to swing the other way. You're shooing them out the door.
I thought this was going to be an honest talk. They so I guess, you know, watching all those other guys that just, you know, just tough it out, battle it out. It's just, I don't know, it's something special that happens for people.
You said something interesting, which you're kind of touching on again. I mean, the parallels between ultra marathon running and life is scary. You know, just what you're saying, the grinding, the determination, the grit, the tenacity to hold on, you know, in the ultra marathon world. And like you said, the guys at the back, they're fighting, man. They're grinding, and they've got 3 kids, and they're working 50 hours a week, and they've got marriage. And speaking of marriage, by the way, so 21 years. Speaking of endurance and marriage, Brett and Megan have been married for 21 years, and congratulations.
Yes, on Wednesday.
Thursday.
He's really good with dates.
Yeah, so Thursday. 21 years we've been married. So we've been married 21 years. So
mate, to get my head around that's really inspirational, and I love myself a good love story, a good you know of again enduring and these parallels. I mean, I saw my grandparents, they were married I think maybe 40 years, something like that. It was something really unique, and to watch that and grow up and be able to observe that was really, really special. And I don't know if we see it a lot nowadays. And 21 years, obviously very happily married. What I mean, tips, tricks, practical tools? How do we endure?
I think the thing is that we've had moments where you kind of think this is going to not work, and it's going to fit. That's the truth. Like the truth of it, I guess, is you think this isn't going to happen, and there's parts of me sometimes think this has got to be easier and being on my own, like, you know, and that's being honest. But I think at the end of the day, it's kind of like you work through your stuff. Well, it is. You work through your stuff.
Without me,
that's true. That is true. But it is true. I agree with what she just said. But I think that. But I think you've got to work through these things. You could give up and stuff like that.
Can I talk now?
No.
Yeah.
All right.
Is it
going to be nice? Is it going to be good? Is it going to be good?
I think so. Because you said what are the tricks in the love story? I think we have this society have this thing that a love story is like, you know, fairy tales, like girls grow up like that. And what it is, it's like running, it's like training, it's hard work, you know, and you have to put in the work. Yeah. And we're very different people, But I think what we've learned over the time is to embrace that difference, because that difference balances us out.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I think a lot of people want the same, or we got to be the same, and I think that's why we work so well. Yeah. And why even into our businesses, because we are different and we bring something different in.
Yeah.
So don't think that it has to be all lovey-lovey. Like you got to do a lot of hard work, and and if you love someone though, you'll do the hard work.
And a lot of the time when we argue, once Megan realises she's wrong, it's all sorted.
The dust settles.
Everything's right.
Honestly,
we can edit that bit out.
No, he says this all the time. We actually had to do one of the churches asked us to do a talk, and he said that, and the whole place laughed. I said, "Dude, that's just old. Like you work yourself out." I love your sense of humour. Yeah, I do.
And when this camera stops rolling, you're going to get it. You're going to get it. Once you get in the car, you're dead neat.
And the other thing is having a good laugh. I think if you can do that, I think laughter is such a big thing. And I think...
We're pretty besties.
Yeah, and even I think even with...
and has that evolved? I mean, I'm really interested in because we all of us in relationships, we hit the turbulence, we hit the speed bumps, and we question, again, is this a good idea? I could probably go this on my own and there'd be no worries. So what would be something, like if you even think back to perhaps maybe one of those moments, what brings it all back? What's the
For me, I'm going to take it on a bit of a deeper level. I always thought like your soulmate was just meant to be beautiful and this beautiful kind of thing. And I read this thing once about your soulmate's actually meant to trigger those things inside yourself that you're meant to learn about yourself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, really? Because we trigger a lot. A lot of it sometimes can be patterns.
Yeah.
And I think when I read that, and I'm like, for me too, is looking underneath that. I really love Brett. I can be up in the clouds. He's very earth. He keeps me grounded. But then I help him to connect to that side that he possibly doesn't connect with.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So my bigger one would be that I think that I've kind of learnt, probably from Megan more than anything, is about trying to see the world through her eyes. Yeah. Because I kind of see it with I kind of see it through what I only see, and that's a kind of a selfish kind of viewpoint.
Yeah.
It's a view.
There's not many blokes like that out there, Greg. Don't worry about it, mate.
But when I can,
you're unique.
I mean, I have a laugh about trying to see things,
What do you
when
mean?
she sorts of stuff. Yeah, but if I can try and see that, usually takes me a while to see it. Yeah. Because I always feel most of the time I'm right. But when I can drop that kind of bullshit and get onto this kind of seeing the world through Megan's eyes, then I kind of get it. Yeah.
A few Ks and Megan's shoes type thing.
Yeah.
Mate, that in itself, in my opinion, is something we can all learn and try to do a bit more. Myself especially, that empathetic side. Like, so what is it like in that person's shoes, just for a little bit? And which is hard.
And the other one was, do you want to be right or happy?
Yes, that's right. There's a T-shirt, mate. You put it on the back of the Run Queensland one. There's money to be made off that one.
It is, but I just think that we have a good laugh together, really. I think as well. So
we're very passionate people, both him and I. Like when we do anything, it's with passion. Whether it's fighting, laughing, making love, doing business, it's passion.
There we go.
Now
let's have some practical tools. Now we've found the sweet spot. Now, just some practical tools about this love-making stuff. I could do. Just let me take some notes. Where's my fucking notebook? I've been doing it a while, Megan, and I still think I could learn a few things. They say ultra-marathon runners have got a bit of endurance, but I'm not sure I'm convinced.
The same here.
Maybe I'm a 50-metre sprinter. Maybe.
Same.
Sure.
I can be the same.
Well, let's face it, it's not just about the men. The women have got to do the work too. We've got to embrace our, I call our prostitute
Yes. Now we're talking. I knew this was a good idea. We're meant to be talking about running, but I think this is a much better topic.
Stop.
I think it's as important, just as long as the blokes finish first, I think. Apparently, something along those lines. It was something I read. It just was important.
Are we talking about running now? Or
yeah,
again?
that's right. All right, let's talk about running. So,
there's one thing I want to say about running when you're talking about ultra running, and I think that kind of goes into the relationship as well. What I noticed when I watch him run, the changes you go through.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like people kind of, like that time that I seen you at Western States at that first checkpoint, you were stuffed, totally stuffed, but I know him.
yeah.
And I knew you're going to get through this.
Yeah.
Just get over the hump.
Yeah.
Push him out. Because I had other crew members going, I would not have done that. Are you sure you've done the right thing? Like, he looks really bad. I know him, and I just know you get over this. So you watch people go through.
Plus, we had good life insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah. The premiums all.
We were all sorted.
Yeah.
Ultra was covered in that.
Go. Get out. 51. 62. Keep going, darling. You're good. Don't worry about your water or your pack. Give it heaps, sweetheart. That's a boy. 85, 86. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, it is. That's I love that though. You know your man. You know what he's capable of. And and it's a hard one.
Even people though, like I've seen that guy that was from Japan at checkpoint 5. He could hardly even
That was
walk.
horrendous.
You know, he couldn't speak English or anything like that.
The other guy was Spanish.
Yeah, we couldn't touch his legs because we were kind of trying to massage his legs. And the sweepers, like the sweepers that we have that have done it every year, they got him running 30 seconds on, like 2 minutes.
Yeah,
walk.
something like that.
Yeah.
They allowed him to walk for 2 minutes if he'd run for a minute, I think.
Oh,
And anyway,
barter with the dying man.
But they got him to moving
finish.
again and got him finished. And I mean, it was just. I think he came back the following year, didn't he? I don't think he ran. I think one of the guys might have done
Spanish
50k.
guy did the 50.
As I was saying earlier, like you can't do awesome shit without good people around you.
Yes.
No.
Like you literally can't. These people that think, you're the hero of the day, you're the
Yeah.
lone wolf, you're going out
Yeah.
there and you're doing it on your own. I mean, that's a fallacy.
So
like,
true.
I
Yeah.
consider myself a semi-decent runner, and there's no way I could do the big stuff, the crazy stuff, without a great team of people around me, and in business and in life and things like that. But I mean, talk to me a little bit about our community here at the gym. We've got lots of people that just think the absolute world of you guys and what you do.
Yeah.
We're coming in thick and fierce for the Blackall. Talk to us a little bit about the Blackall. It's such a beautiful event, a unique event that is obviously Sunshine Coast based. Why the Blackall? Why the event? Why do you guys do that? You're obviously busy with your retreat. You're busy with life. Why the Blackall?
Oh, for me, it's a simple one. I just love ultra running. So, I mean, we were looking at that course for a long time. And it took a lot of work to get the trail on. We had to do a lot of work with national parks and
I bet.
and then government. So we were presenting them and showing them, that this can showcase the Sunshine Coast.
Yeah.
So, and we wanted to put on a really good 100k event, 50k event. We had smaller events as Run Queensland. Back in the day, like night races and shorter stuff. So, we wanted to go on a space that was just, really beautiful, and that had all the waterfalls. You've seen all the course, so and we wanted to
evolve from there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like the cultural sides come in. So we've learned on the way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, like it's evolved that race, and we've learnt all this thing about the area, about the Bunya, the Bunya Festival. All this stuff's just evolved, and that kind of keeps it interesting as well.
Yeah, growing and learning, and then sharing that with everybody. Because I know even like your t-shirts and stuff like that.
This year, Jamie, you're going to be knocked out.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, so we've got. So with that cultural, I think the cultural aspect is one of the things that we really connected with. I know growing up in Sydney, we didn't learn much about Indigenous culture.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether that was purposely done to keep it under the mat kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like we've met some really great Indigenous elders through this process. I mean, you know, Uncle Al that comes up is just an amazing fella, and you know, I've sat with him, and you know, we've been oaked up in our backyard, and you know, had some really great yarn up circles and stuff, and just to learn a little bit about our area up there, and you know, where this place runs, and you know,
connects you more on a deeper level.
Absolutely. And then again, coming back to, as I was first saying, the difference between community and culture, and that is one of the things that stand out. You know, why you guys do what you do, why you're bringing people to the Sunshine Coast, and even us, you know, locals that live here, you know, bringing everybody in on a deeper level, and it's almost, it's not just about the running.
No, it does something else.
It's about this whole full spectrum experience, which is just so unique, and that all starts with you guys. You know, has started with you guys. You've been the catalyst for this, which is just beautiful.
Oh, Jamie, thanks.
Yeah.
See, I suppose, I mean, on a level you think like that, but just have a look. I'm going to get all teary.
Oh, you're all right. I'll put some bourbon in the coffee and we'll get this party started. You'll be right.
Yeah, I think that's the core thing. And when someone kind of brings that to your attention, it's like, yeah, thanks, dude.
You're doing it. Well, it's so, and again, this is my perception, but I hear things and I'm involved with running, and that's what's, you know, that's what's out there. That's it. And it's so transparent. It's so authentic. We live in a world. Fucking hell, there's a filter for everything. We put what we want to put out for people to see, with the bridge between, the gap between who we actually are and what we put out there is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until we don't even fucking know ourselves. And then sometimes you get people that come out that are really authentic. And they're like, oh, this is what we're doing. Do you like this? Do you like what we're doing? And that's how I really strongly believe, that's how I feel you guys conduct yourself, and it's awesome. It's absolutely awesome.
That's what we're trying to do with the race. Appreciate that. Like I guess that's what we're trying to do with the race. We're trying to say, here's what we're presenting, and hopefully people connect with that and want to come and do it. So, I mean, like Uncle Al, he just says it's more than a race.
Yes.
And I kind of get that, because from his perspective, he comes there and spends the weekend with us now. Like, he used to just come and do the welcome and then go. Yeah. But now he stays with us and talks with. He was there telling me how he was rubbing people's feet after the race last year. Yeah, so he's there massaging some. I forget one of the ladies' feet there, and I think that's what we're sort of incorporating into it now. It's like, even down to the first aid guys, they just love the race. They love what we're doing, you know, and they're as big a part of it as, you know, the runners and that now. So it's almost, in some ways, there's this thing going on, and there's a run in the middle of it. So
absolutely. And it just so happens to be a run involved in there.
And it's going to take you a while. Yeah. And your quads might sort of. You know, we've had people ask about putting it into cooler months. Yeah. And part of the reason that we don't is we're a Western States qualifier. And we wanted it so that if you qualify for Western, it's going to be hot. Because when we were over there, it was 42 degrees. It's the hard that makes it good.
Absolutely. The leaning into the discomfort, the curly bits, the stuff we don't like, that's where the growth is, you know. And again, we're talking about marriage and endurance and parallels with life. That's where the growth is, you know.
Here's a question. You're the interviewer, but here's a question for you. You talked to me about the Hurt 100. Yeah. One of the things that I hear you talk about most of the time, is the thing that cost you and felt the worst during it. Yeah. And that was when you went to sleep. Yeah. You don't talk about, I was having a good run sort of thing. You talk about these feet and the struggle. That makes seems to me, every time I talk about a race, it's not the good races I have that I seem to remember. I mean, I remember them because the time tells you had a good race. Yeah. But it's the ones where you like battled through and you think, I'm not going to make it.
You know why that is? Can I tell you why?
What do you think?
Because we all want to be heroes. It's your hero archetype that you're bringing out in yourself, and you're just like, fuck, I did that. You know, I don't think we realise how capable we are.
Oh, so well said. Yeah.
We don't realise how capable we are, and when we express that part of ourselves, it's like, fuck.
Yeah, I
Man,
did it.
I
Well,
did it.
I think you know, when people, and unfortunately, I'm sure you guys would agree, in our young ones, we see a lot, and you know, our age demographic, you know, with low self-esteem, low self-worth, low self-respect.
Yeah.
All these traits, these character traits, and you think little things like that, leaning into the discomfort and achieving those things that we didn't perhaps initially think we were capable of.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be in the running world, but in anything.
That kind of,
and then you kind of, it's almost, you can give yourself a little pat on the back, you know, and sort of think, all right, I feel a bit better about that because I did better than what I thought I could. And yeah, that's again making example of those parallels between running and life.
Yeah.
'Cause it's the same thing with running. If you can get through the sticky bits, you're just so proud of yourself.
Well, I think that's what your movie demonstrated, those tough bits that a lot of people normally just sort of see, been married 21 years, like that. You don't see that on the social media stuff. It's always putting your best foot forward stuff.
Yeah, you don't put
you don't put like, I've just had an argument.
Yeah,
that was
I don't know
shit.
if I'm up for this.
Yeah, that was shit.
Oh, you dead shit.
You know what I mean? Really? No, but you know what I mean? Like, you don't sort of get
Gotta make it to Wednesday next week, was it? Or Thursday next week, you gotta get there.
Wednesday, we're going to New Zealand, because we're going to NZ
Oh, yeah.
on Wednesday, because that's where it all started for us on the snow. We met on the snow.
Oh, watch it. New Zealand, something in the water there.
Yeah.
Careful
Oh,
with
it's
that.
a very, very beautiful place, eh?
It is a unique and special.
So we've got our older kids coming with us for that one.
Yeah.
So
You have to tone it down a little bit.
got the three kids coming because we always wanted to take them to the ski fields and we never had the opportunity. So we've got all our older kids having a go with us. So that should be good fun with them, won't it?
Yeah, it's a beautiful spot.
So
New Zealand, they do it well. They do it well. So a huge thing, and we've spoken about who you bring into the Blackall 100. Massive inspiration for myself personally, and I know for runners worldwide. And in my opinion, this individual put the spotlight on ultramarathon running. He put sexy in it somehow, made it almost hipster, caused a paradigm shift, made us all think, hold on a sec.
We can do it.
We can do this. And we relate. I know I related personally with his story, you know, in a bad place, and he just decided, you know, I'm going to need to make a shift. My life will never be the same. Talk to us about Dean KARNAZES. You're bringing Dean KARNAZES, mate, the man himself. 50 marathons, 50 states, road to Sparta.
Let's high five. He was like, can you believe we're doing
Confessions
that?
of a Midnight Runner. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't already know, which you must have rocks in your head or be hiding under a rock somewhere, Dean KARNAZES is coming to the Sunshine Coast of the Blackall 100 thanks to these two beautiful human beings and their team. Talk to us about that, mate. Why God.
How the seed started. Do that.
Talk about seeds.
So
Talk about seeds. Planting seeds.
sow on a few.
When's the best time to plant a tree? They say 20 years ago or today. So talk to us about seed planting.
So I guess it started for me back. I can't remember when the book. Say 2007 or something like that. I've always liked running, but my father-in-law gave me his first book.
Was it Confessions of a Midnight Runner?
Yeah, the Ultramarathon Man, Confessions of an All-Night Runner. Yeah, so I kind of read that in about 3 days. Megan said, geez, you're reading. I was like, you were talking about books. Yeah, I'm like, what? So anyway.
Running porn.
Yeah. So I put the book down and I decided to miss my turn off one day and thought, oh, you can run longer.
Yeah,
so I did. I had no water, nothing. I just kept running. Bowels started playing up and I'm thinking, what's this about? Yeah, diving in the bush, finding Kentucky Fried Chicken boxes. It wasn't pretty. Anyway, I sort of got home and I ended up running about 24 Ks just off the bat. Well, that wasn't a bad sort of... Anyway, I was knackered and I thought that was awesome. Nothing worked real well, but anyway. So then I guess I started to investigate this and we had ultra marathons around our area and stuff, so...
Anyway, a couple of milers.
Did a couple of 100 milers and that around there.
For him.
Yeah, so
You would have
he loved the Excel spreadsheets and all that stuff. And anyway, and then when we got in Western States, we're sitting there with the race brief and Megan looked up and said, is that Dean KARNAZES up there? And I'm like,
he's only a little guy. Like he's he's not a tall guy.
He looks like a well-muscled.
So, he's muscle, but he's only like.
Seems like he's got a bit smaller, but like I mean, I suppose it's been a few years, isn't it?
Well, he runs.
He's a muscly bloke.
That's what I mean.
But he's like sort of, I guess,
lean.
built, lean, muscly, and. So we sort of went out and got to speak to him. I ran out and grabbed my son and said, "Get a photo."
Yeah.
So I jumped in. I said, Dean, we're just chatting for a little bit about
how you changed your book.
I said, your book changed my world.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm really glad anyway. And so we gave him a Blackall 100 shirt and he spotted
Chris Jacobson.
one of the guys that we were with, Chris Jacobson.
He's
I'm
a
not
good
sure.
runner.
He was with us and jumped in. So we got this photo and Chris, like me, like you, read the books and all that, and then that coffee was good.
Who's the random dude?
Yeah. So anyway, and it was funny because my son kind of got.
There. You know how he's very involved with his parents.
Yes, the
so
family seem to go everywhere. When
they
they
go,
go,
about the mothership, and
the
mothership.
mothership.
Noah, our son, and Noah watching his dad meet his idol, even now he's like,
Beautiful.
oh, have you heard from Dean, Dad?
Yeah, he walked in yesterday.
Have you heard from me, mate?
Yeah, have you heard from Dean?
Have you heard from old mate?
So we sort of, so it just sort of went from there, and I gave him a Blackall 100 shirt, and he sort of, the pacer I had was wearing a Blackall 100 shirt, and as he seen Dean's come into Michigan Bluff at 55 mile and seen Phil and said, Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
Oh.
And Phil was all made up. He said, Dean Kanazes just yelled out Aussie, Aussie. Oh. So we're sort of all glazy-eyed and starry-eyed, and when the dust settled and we got home from that Western States, I just sort of said to Megan, I'm going to I might email Dean and see, would he like to come to the Blackall? And, we shared the video with him and just sort of started rolling on from there. So we've been really lucky. Again, loads of people have fallen in place and helped us. Like we've had
Coast Council's helping us.
The North Face. And that was another chance kind of that we were able to meet one of the guys, the Queensland North Face rep, and manages all the different stores.
Yeah.
And he was, Brody was just wonderful, just jumped on and he jumped on board as well, just sort of rolled like that. So
it's a lengthy process though. It took us 6 months to finalise it all. Yeah.
But for us, it was just like one of those moments that, I guess for Sunshine Coast, it's for me, it's personally, it's a big thing.
Yeah.
But I think for all of us guys that run ultras and that have probably, I guess, maybe for the 30 upwards. Kind of age category, which is, I guess, most people that run ultra are usually about 30 and above. That's our major demographic.
Yeah.
But share why you think that he is the royalty of ultra, because I liked what you said. How you said that he's sustained.
I think he's been a person.
He's been here for such a long time. Get these guys that come in.
Flash in the pan,
they're gone in, a couple of years. This Dean has stayed around.
It's the pinnacle of endurance, it's resilience. He's been resilient in the public eye. And I remember even, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago even, I remember reading an article and people were not slandering him, but you remember that? And they were like, well, who is this guy? He's never in the top three. He's never, it's like, do you not realise what this is all about? It's not about that. It's about his contribution. It's about what he shines the spotlight.
The rippling effect that he has on people.
The enormous effect has been exponential. People like us, we're inspired by this guy, and we're just a small part of a large community that have been driven and motivated by what Dean's done. It's just quite incredible, and you guys, it's just amazing that we're able to share this.
I think the thing is, you're going to get always, what I've realised, there's always people that are going to be, I don't know if they're jealous or whatever, or they're just negative, I guess, towards things when you're trying your own stuff. Yep. I think we've done, I mean, he's won 2 bad waters as well. He's finished, he hasn't won Western States. He's had top 10, I think, finishes.
Yeah.
But for me, it's not about that. He was sort of in a corporate job that he didn't want to do and he wasn't enjoying it. And he's not saying that that's for everyone. He's not saying quit your job and go and be a runner.
Go for a run.
He's saying that there are people that he had people that were in that job that loved their job. It wasn't for him, and he made a change. How many people just sit in jobs that They don't want to do.
Yeah. Well, running's just the vessel. It's the message that he's portraying is huge.
That's the message was the message that he sort of had. It wasn't about the running. I mean, I connect with it because I like running, but for him to sort of be in that sport, choose a sport that he loves and make it your living.
And he does it well. He does it really well.
He's an amazing I couldn't catch him in Western States. He had a bad day there too. I was about half an hour behind him. I was like, oh, well, there you go. But he had a rough day out there. But for me, it's kind of like the joy that he brings. It's that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if it's always about, someone said that, if it's always to me the other day about, I'm not the fastest runner. I said, if it's always about winning, there's only one happy person in any event. Like, I mean, it's got to be more than that.
Well, it's the running, I think, for me, and it's taken me a while to realise that I was heavily, really competitive. And again, you always left kind of going, because I've been on a podium once out of all the events. I've done over 50 ultra marathons in excess of 100K. I've been on a podium once, yet my mind is just so competitive. And it took me a while and a little bit of maturity and a bit of guidance to realise, it's not a destination, it's not an event, it's a journey. It's this process of starting to train and eating well and getting a family involved and managing life as you prepare for an event. And it's the accomplishment of the journey as opposed to the actual event itself.
So true.
And I started to enjoy it much, much more. So, I feel like I could talk all weekend to you too. Bloody hell, I'm loving this. So let's summarise.
Yeah.
So if you had to give some practical tips or any insight into the Blackall, and especially for newcomers to the Blackall, whether it's the 50 or the 100, or just even ultra marathons in general, what would be, and Brett, what would be some advice, guidance, tips, practical tools that people could use as they come into the ultra world?
I think if you're going to do the Blackall, I think I'd be trying to train in the middle of the day more. I'd be looking for warmer parts of the day to train. Like that morning's going to be, it's always cool and it always feels nice. If you've got time to do it, I'd be looking for a bit of heat training if you could. I would be training my nutrition properly, like before the race. Yeah. And then when you come to the race, even though it's like a cafe out there in our checkpoints.
My gosh.
I know,
but coming up for lunch.
But what I find is a lot of people will come into the race. They've been training on certain amounts of food, and then all of a sudden they eat like they're in a cafe or at Sizzler.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they've got these stomach GI problems, gut GI problems going on, and they start eating like they've
had a digger station.
But they've
but
they've been training courses. And they drink Coke like it's, on tap. And it just, if you have too much of that, I find for me, if I have too much sugar early, you just get so many stomach problems. And I think the tendency to eat way more, like, you see these, everyone lays their food out the night before and you're thinking, far out, are you going to eat that? I mean, that can't even fit in your stomach. So I think not trying to be really panicky about what's going to happen on the day. It's sort of going to happen anyway, but try and keep in the moment as much as you can. Enjoy it. You always say, Megan always thinks that when the men come into the checkpoint, they've got this serious face on. Women are usually smiling. I think try to keep a smile and keep a good time.
Yeah.
But I think
leave the ego at the start line.
I was just about to say that.
If you can.
Leave the ego at the start line.
Leave the ego towards the end.
Yeah. And I think the other thing...
at the aid stations when you get your 9 courses.
I think the other thing too, in the Blackall that makes it a little bit tricky, because there's a bit of road at the start with the road closure and that, there's a tendency to run that first 8 kilometres quite quick.
Yeah, don't.
And I think that can really bring people undone. There's a couple of little climbs there that...
That's right.
Yeah. They're kind of stingers.
I always say to Brett and Chris, because Chris is a guy that just goes out hard. I just ease into it. It's 100 Ks. Ease into it. Don't go too full on. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Get your straps. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Yes. I mean, I'm not a full on runner, but when I used to run, it'd be like probably 5 or 6 Ks before I'd start to feel like, okay, I'm starting to get into my rhythm. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So going out full on, I think is not a great thing.
That's great advice. Yeah. That's really good advice, and I think we need to hear that more. Yeah. More. Yeah.
Because it's
I mean-
like
Long
what
game.
you're saying, leave the ego. Like they get at the start line, it's like,
Even in the car park.
yeah, everyone just starts sprinting out. It's like, just, okay, I'll
We just
see.
get caught up in the infectious enthusiasm
Yeah.
of the whole thing. You
Oh,
know,
there's
it's
bells
a-
ringing, there's music,
Oh,
there's music,
yeah,
there's a
buddy.
lot of stuff going on. So I
Yeah.
think it's really,
If you can train on the track would be good.
Yeah.
If you
See,
have the
that's great-
opportunity
great
to train,
advice. Yeah.
train on the trail. Get a good I mean, people do it just doing the drop stations, but I think having a support crew is really,
Yep.
it's quite integral to the.
oh,
to
it
the
is.
event,
I think
yeah.
when I have,
But sometimes they're not coherent.
Yeah.
And you kind of like, if you kind of, you know each other well, you can know what they need.
Yep. Yep.
And also just give them that support. Don't let them sit down too long.
Yeah. What's that saying? Beware the chair. Don't
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or beware
Yeah.
the little pup tent
Yeah.
when you go for a power.
yeah, you know that one.
10 minutes becomes 45. Oh.
I think the other one too is, I mean, if you've got an injury and you need to stop, but I think mentally there's going to come a point in that race, and probably a couple of times where you're going to sort of say, enough's enough. I think if you can push through those and give yourself 5 or 10 minutes, that can flip around so quick, and all of a sudden this running's coming back. There's all this kind of movement.
The rise of Superman. Here we go.
and
Here
it
we
can
go.
happen. And there's enough people around you that'll help lift you. There,
Yeah,
and just
Especially
yeah.
the guys, for sure.
The other thing I always say is keep cool from the start.
Oh, yeah, that's
like
huge.
Western States, everything, keep cool. I'll say to Brett, he has a, what do you call those?
Oh, the neck coolers. We have neck coolers straight up.
That's your nervous system, keep that cool. I have a bit of a concoction where I do like lemongrass, peppermint, and I spray it on the back of his neck and on the back of his knees.
Knees, yeah.
And that keeps your body cool or helps the body get cooler.
So they're getting that ice on. If you've got crew, having that ice on the back of the neck cools that central nervous
Don't
system
wait
quick.
till you get hot.
Yeah.
Too late.
Yeah, too late.
That's
Too late.
great
Yeah.
advice. Oh, the little gems just getting sprinkled.
I think the keeping cool up there is really important. If you can do it early. I mean, there's a lot of creeks along that trail too.
Get involved.
Just cool yourself down as quick as you can.
Do you think go nude? I was asking for a friend. Mate of mine was curious about.
We almost had one there the other day at our gladiator race. He was in a loincloth.
One of the Noosa Nutters, they love going naked.
He's got a new name.
What are the A-Bay?
He's got had his little loincloth on. He had the loincloth and running sleeves. So he's now called Bro Farrow, I think, not Mo Farrow. So anyway.
But
So-
and the checkpoints, like we have really, really awesome checkpoints. Like
Yeah, you do.
Noosa they have like a disco thing going on there, and they're a lot of them are experienced ultra runners, so they don't let people quit unless they really think
Are
it's
injured,
going
yeah.
like, and there's first aid at every checkpoint as well, so they're always looking.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
I've done a 100-miler before. Sorry to interrupt
Yeah.
you, Megan. I just think it's worth saying. I've done a 100-miler
Yeah.
before. There was no first aid,
Yeah, no.
and I think there was only maybe one or two.
We've got awesome
Ace-
first aid.
And mate, that's
Yeah.
another thing that
They're
really stood out.
paramedics. They're paramedics. Some of them,
Oh,
they're just
serious
they're
proper
amazing.
gear.
They're
the
amazing
real deal.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think lost my train of thought. I was even when you're feeling like crap, I think if you can somehow enjoy that as much as when you're
Yeah.
feeling good, like kind of accept that that's part of it. I mean, I know you're feeling crap, but kind of sort of say, okay, this can
Dan
change.
was talking about that on that Sparta video where he's saying, he's even feel like you're feeling pain on the tip of your nose.
Yeah.
And it's
Eyelashes are hurting.
yeah,
Oh.
and it's just if you can, just kind of it goes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like depression. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
think some people, if you wake up the next day, you may not feel as bad.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It
Go
just
to sleep.
get through the night. So it's I think it's so many parallels as you were saying in life
Yeah.
in regards to
Make sure you got a good headlamp. There's another good one.
There you go, Tim. Make sure you got a good headlamp.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and understand how it's all going to work and stuff like that. I mean, if you haven't got that, I mean, as I get older, the lumens get more and more.
More watts.
Yeah.
Bulbs.
Yeah, I'll be carrying floodlights on my head soon. So I think, you know, making sure you got the right gear, you know,
Yeah.
anti-chafes, you know, anti-chafe, or, you know, the...
Yeah, spray, put that all over you before
Yeah.
you start.
Yeah.
Guys, it has been an absolute pleasure and a
It's been
privilege.
fun,
I just
hey?
love this.
Good
like
fun.
like I say, we could do, lucky there's no bloody red wine or anything like that. We'd be in for the weekend. This is great. Look, I think everybody's going to get so much value just out of you guys sharing.
Yeah.
If it's not about, you know, the health and longevity of a great relationship and marriage, we've learned stuff about the Blackall, and we've learned. I now feel like I really know you guys even more.
Yeah.
And I can't wait. I actually cannot wait. I'm so excited about
it's going to be
Blackall.
big.
And
I really love your enthusiasm, Jamie,
Yeah.
because this is the first time I've really sat down and chat with you.
yeah, we seemed to. You loaned me a pair of shoes a few years ago.
Oh,
I
did
rocked
you?
up. Remember, I don't know if you remember. I came to one of the events. I think it might have been Beware at night. I can't remember.
Oh, yeah.
It was something, and you were at the start line, and I'd spoken to Neil Colley, and I was coming from Brizzy, and I went to get my gear out of the back of the car, and I was
forgot
like,
your shoes.
forgot my fucking shoes. Old ultra marathon running, Jamie Milne. I forgot my shoes. And I'm ringing up, I'm like, man, I've got no shoes. And then Neil, I think, spoke to you, and he said, oh, I could find a 9.5 somewhere. You threw me a pair of shoes. I'm like, right, I'm back in the fight. I'm back in the game. I'm ready to go.
You could have been like the speedo runner, been the barefoot runner.
That's
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Well, that was going to be the next option. But no, guys, thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks
Yeah.
for having us, mate.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. It was good fun.
Thank you, my
It's
brother.
great
Thank
fun.
you, Megan. Thank you so much.